Chosen one. Take a moment to exhale and listen with your deepest spirit, for you are not here by chance. This film did not come to you in the same way that the majority of people fumble through life. The heavens have precisely planned this moment. These words were aligned with your eyes by the same hand that aligned the stars, confirming that you have entered creator mode. Anointed one. You are on the verge of a magical breakthrough that will change timelines, rewrite fates, and reveal wealth and power that were always yours but had been hidden until now. You have been chosen to work in a domain that is rarely encountered by more than 1% of the population. This is the hour when spiritual authority is activated within you. According to Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3, this is the moment when the heavens whisper that the vision is for a specific time, which is now. The atmosphere around you, chosen one, is changing. Doors that won't open are starting to quake. Resources that were previously seen as far away are now in line with your name. The spiritual sphere has allowed access. Prepare your heart, keep your cool, and enter, because your life will change dramatically from this moment on. As you reflect on these words, chosen one, a divine force is silently working within your spirit. You didn't accidentally enter creator mode. An unseen hand lured you to this spot, guiding you through what you thought were random turns, all to get you to this appointed moment, a higher orchestration. Anointed one. Creator mode is more than just a notion. It is an awakening. This is a reopening of the skies, a stirring of your deepest part which has been silent for an extraordinary amount of time. You are no longer a person who is simply trying to get through life. You are moving into a position that is actively involved in its development. You are becoming a spiritual architect, actively shaping your own destiny. You will notice a shift in your outlook on the world from this moment forward. You may be in creator mode, but every experience becomes material for creation, even if others perceive boundaries, hurdles, and causes to dread. The things that formerly brought you anguish are now being transformed into wisdom. The deviations that initially baffled you start to reveal themselves as divine signs. Life is no longer something that happens to you. It evolves into something you actively shape moment-to-moment, choice after option. The Anointed One. Creator mode begins with awareness, which serves as an opportunity to uncover your authentic self. You might have spent years wondering why certain seasons felt heavy, why doors closed unexpectedly, and why routes seemed to shift without warning. However, you realize that these were not punishments, but rather preparations. Heaven cannot offer creative authority to a spirit that is still shaken by exterior turmoil. Every silent season, every pain, every separation, and every time when you felt depleted was part of the divine purification process. They were all molding you into someone who was strong, clear, and grounded enough to wield the power of creation. Chosen one. This is also the point at which you realize you've never truly been alone in your creative pursuit. All existence is infused with the Holy Spirit that you are co-creating. The inner nudges unexpected clarity, peculiar timing, and indicators you previously disregarded were never coincidences. They were confirmations, and as creator mode completely awakens within you, these confirmations will become more frequent, bold, and accurate. Synchronicities will grow in frequency, intuition will become more vocal, and direction will become more specific. Unchosen one. As you advance through this awakening, you must understand that creator mode is more than just a mental condition that necessitates a shift in viewpoint. It is a changed state of being. It is the transition from reactor to initiator. The move from being influenced by circumstances to influencing one's surroundings. This is the point at which heaven begins teaching you the art of inner control. The world has taught you to respond to what you see, but heaven teaches you that what you see is the final step of manifestation. Everything begins with the unseen in the peaceful chambers of intention, belief, and spiritual connection. To impact the external environment, control must first be established over the internal one. That is the first law of creator mode, which only 1% of spiritually awakened people ever understand. Chosen one, consider how many years you have inadvertently given up your power. Your emotions shifted in response to the way people treated you. Your sense of self-assurance fluctuated dependent upon whether or not an individual endorsed you. Your peace of mind vanished as soon as an unexpected event occurred. You lived as though the cosmos was the creator of your story without understanding it. However, heaven is now in this new reality, reminding you of something incredibly intimate and ancient. Your authority was always yours. You always have the ability to rewrite, divert, reconstruct, and realign. You simply weren't alert enough to activate it. However, the strength returns, the spiritual amnesia fades, and you begin to remember your actual identity as the creator mode ascends within you. This is the moment at which the training becomes more advanced. Intention is required for creator mode since it is not passive, and intention requires clarity. Clarity is a term that is often ignored by people since it requires honesty. Transparent about your goals. Transparent about your reasons for purchasing it. Be open about your anxieties. Be honest about the parts of yourself that you have been hiding. Many people indicate a desire to advance, but are concerned about the responsibilities that come with it. They say they want abundance, but they still believe in scarcity. They claim to want liberation, but they continue to live within their comfortable restrictions. Creator mode displays this misalignment, not to condemn you, but to set you free. Creator mode drives you to expand, because heaven cannot bless the version of you that refuses to expand. The expansion of the chosen one is frequently accompanied by discomfort. The anxiety you're feeling isn't a sign of failure. Rather, it's a reflection of your growth beyond the prior version of yourself. You're shedding, stretching, and disintegrating old identities, worries, and stories. You are now entering a body that is finally in tune with your purpose. Consider the times when you felt restless, disinterested, or unmotivated about hobbies that used to enthrall you. This was not tiredness, it was a rebirth. When heaven calls you to a new realm, the old domain loses its appeal. And while the intellect is in agony, the spirit is fully aware of the circumstance. You're currently undergoing an upgrade. The explanation for the requirement of quiet in creator mode is given below. Stillness does not imply idleness, but rather alignment. The whispers of paradise are lost in the clamor of everyday existence. Guidance nudges are invisible during emotional cyclones. The sacred skill of quieting one's inner world in order to hear the instructions being downloaded to one's gadget is taught in creator mode. This isn't a major occurrence. It unfolds in subtle ways. A peaceful moment in the morning when a concept enters your head. The sudden sensation that says, "Hold on." An unexpected attraction to a new concept. The impression of weight that occurs as a door is about to close. These are conversations between the unseen and selected one. The more you focus on them, the clearer they become. I recall a period when I was unsure whether to stay or leave a situation that appeared promising on the surface, but felt wrong in my heart. My head was perplexed, but my spirit whispered, "This is not the location of your elevation." When I eventually gave in to the whispered doors I had been pursuing for years opened suddenly rather than according to reasoning. This is how creator mode operates. Everything accelerates when your intuition is in sync with the universe's timing. Synchronicities become customary. Opportunities are easily generated. Individuals appear just when they are wanted. This is not a type of magic. It is spiritual technology, but it is the chosen one. It is critical that you comprehend a critical issue. When someone has this level of authority, they must have complete trust. Lack of trust in others. Don't have faith in the cosmos. However, have trust in the spiritual intellect that is steering you. Occasionally, the divine will guide you down paths that defy logic. The door you want may not always open because you must build your own door. Occasionally, the fulfillment of your requests may be delayed because the version of yourself that requested it differs from the version that is capable of receiving it. Creator mode requires you to put your trust in the unseen even when the apparent contradicts it. That you believe in the murmur despite the fact that logic says otherwise. That you believe in the pull even if the way is uncertain. This trust is tough to build, but it is transformative. When you stop resisting the flow and start moving with it, your life begins to restructure around your destiny. You feel a sense of security that is difficult to describe. You begin to receive provision in ways you never expected. You begin to generate from a place of authority rather than fear. Slowly, the creator within you emerges. Selected. The realm of spiritual discernment is now open to you since the foundation of creator mode has been reactivated inside you. The place where the divine begins to connect with you. Palpable motions rather than visual miracles. This is where the anointed differentiate themselves from the distracted. Because heaven frequently communicates through subtleties, most people expect signs chiseled in stone. The question is not if heaven is speaking, but whether you have the ability to recognize its voice. Chosen one, keep in mind that the process of establishing truth begins with intuition. Not the surface intuition that changes with mood, but the deep spiritual intuition that is embedded in your brain. The intuition that has kept you safe without your knowledge. The intuition that informed you of people's genuine intents before their exposure. The impulse that drove you to explore opportunities even before evidence became available. This inner knowing is not arbitrary. It is a means of communication with the divine. The murmur serves as a signal. Peace is a confirmation. Gravity serves as a warning. Only those who are eager to listen can receive the Spirit's word. I am aware of the peculiar character of this procedure. During my personal journey, there were times when I thought I was overthinking, only to realize later that the sensation I had ignored was a message from heaven attempting to lead me. And I've experienced both outcomes, the value of listening to the whisper and the consequences of ignoring it. A whisper is never deceitful. Creator mode pushes you to believe in it. However, discernment for the chosen one requires seclusion, which is something many people shun. Not alone, but lonely. The form of seclusion that allows you to hear your spirit without distraction while also clearing emotional garbage. Disconnection from oneself happens when one is constantly bombarded with noise, opinions, fear, and distraction. The ability to detect small signals that determine your fate is squandered. This is why heaven often separates those it is uplifting. Heaven withdrew them because their voices were too loud for the level you are entering, despite the fact that you may assume that everyone has abandoned you. You may have thought your plans had been derailed. Nevertheless, they were actually demolished by the divine since they would have hampered your progress. You may believe that you are starting over. Rather, heaven is giving you a fresh start so that nothing from the past might infect the present. Selected. This is why your spirit is more open during this season. You are now tired of conversations that you previously tolerated. Environments that were once commonplace now appear oppressive. Individuals who previously entertained you are now experiencing cognitive dissonance. It's discernment, not judgment. Heaven is calibrating your spirit to match the frequency of your future. You are being tuned like an instrument for heavenly guidance. As you improve your tuning, heaven's voice becomes more audible. This is the point at which creator mode changes to supernatural. Because once you knew what was yours and what wasn't, your manifestations picked up speed. Stop wasting your time with people who diminish your energy. You stop putting effort into activities that do not help you grow as a person. You stop pursuing avenues that were never intended for your name. Suddenly, your life gets more specific. Your decisions become more precise. Your spirit gains authority, and your reality begins to align. The manifestation of the Anointed One is not intended to impose results. It refers to conforming to what is already in your possession. Everything you want is already existing in the unseen domain. However, only the aligned version of yourself can access it. This is why, in creative mode, you must update your beliefs, emotional patterns, expectations, and behaviors, as receiving abundance is impossible when thinking like a survivor. Distraction makes receiving revelation impossible. You are unable to be elevated while preserving your previous identities. This is the point at which the most profound labor begins, namely the release of the fear that binds you. Fear is the greatest robber of invention. It persuades you to cut back when you should grow, to settle when you should move forward, and to worry when you should trust. Nonetheless, dread is only effective when it is chosen and addressed. The cosmos does not respond to your desires, which is why creation accelerates the moment you stop feeding fear. It responds to the energy you emit. When your energy is aligned with confidence, clarity, and surrender, heaven begins to move mountains on your behalf. Chosen One. There is another issue that you should be aware of. The more aligned you are, the more heaven will stretch you, not to break you, but to strengthen you. Certain instructions may cause sensations of discomfort. Certain decisions may appear to be harmful. Certain activities will require courage which you were previously unaware you possessed. However, the elongation indicates expansion. Heaven's admonition to leave your comfort zone indicates that your destiny is beyond your familiarity. Growth is uncomfortable because the old self resists the development of the new. However, the Creator within you grows stronger with each decision to prefer faith over fear. Your authority grows with every decision to emphasize alignment over approval. The supernatural realm becomes accessible each time you choose obedience over doubt. Slowly, you realize that you are no longer the version of yourself that life once tried to destroy. You're climbing. You are in the process of awakening. You're recalling. Being the chosen one. Being in creator mode is more than just creating a more fulfilling life. It refers to the process of becoming a conduit for divine power on earth. You have the ability to affect the environment, create opportunities, align timelines, attract resources, and change your destiny. Fantasy is not the case. Spiritual technology has been instilled in you since the beginning. Chosen One. When you go deeper into the unfolding of creator mode, a profound and subtle occurrence takes place within your spirit. The experience could be a quiet stirring, a soft vibration beneath your skin, or a sudden awareness that you are unable to properly explain. This is because paradise awakens both your creative authority and your spiritual identity. This is the stage at which you begin to remember your actual identity before being influenced by life, tragedy, and dread that attempted to limit your destiny. The spiritual truth about your identity is resurfacing. You are more than just someone trying to make it through life. You are a conduit for heavenly intellect, a carrier of spiritual designs, and a creator of reality. Creator mode is more than just a skill. It's part of your inheritance. Chosen One, consider your life to this point. Every loss, setback, closed door, betrayal, and night you grieved quietly into your pillow were all contributing to your growth, not your demise. You were being honed for this realm in which you work alongside heaven. You desired responses at times, but were just met with stillness. You requested clarity, but instead traveled through hazy terrain. Moments when you expected stability, but instead experienced anarchy. The whole thing was wonderfully arranged. Heaven was strengthening your discernment, honing your inner vision, activating your spiritual senses, and removing you from identities that were unsuitable for your mission. To accommodate what was predestined, it was necessary to let go of what was not in accord. And now in this season of ascension, Creator Mode wants you to understand an important fact. Everything begins energetically before it manifests physically. The bulk of people misunderstand this. They try to change their lives by managing events rather than changing their interior landscape. However, the command center is your inner universe. Anointed One. The reality you are entering is based on your emotions, beliefs, thoughts, expectations, and spiritual alignment. Your internal environment shapes your exterior environment. This is why the Creator Mode is considered sacred. This does not simply inspire you to monitor your ideas, it also requires that you master them. Throughout my personal journey, I had a sense of disorganization, heaviness, or stagnation, and I lamented the lack of a breakthrough. But heaven showed the truth, and I was asking a reality with which I did not agree. I sought serenity, yet my mind was consumed with tension. I sought abundance, yet my convictions were based on the principle of scarcity. I craved spiritual connections, yet I had to suffer those that were depleting. I wanted to ascend, but I was attached to versions of myself associated with past chapters. When this revelation hit me, I felt remorseful and aware. Creator Mode requires honesty. The kind of honesty that forces you to confront the internal narratives that construct your world without judgment, fear, or justification. Chosen One. When you change your internal frequency, your surrounding environment starts to react in response. Individuals that are not in accord disappear. Ideas flow like water previously closed. Opportunities open up, and the resources you need for your next chapter materialize with perfect timing. This was not an accident. It's spiritual mathematics. Heaven reacts to alignment rather than effort. It is not intended that you seek what is consistent with your ideals. You are meant to attract it by becoming the version of yourself who is capable of holding it. This is why emotional mastery is necessary in Creator Mode. You are not meant to conceal your feelings. Instead, you are meant to understand them. Fear is not your adversary. It acts as an ambassador informing you that you are moving beyond your comfort zone. Anger is not indicative of weakness. It identifies locations where you feel misaligned or violated. Sadness isn't a burden. It reveals the depths of your spirit. Your spiritual guidance system includes emotions, but you must direct them rather than let them direct you. You become spiritually impenetrable when you master the ability to feel without drowning, process without collapsing, and comprehend without resistance. Chosen One. This is also the season in which your intuition grows significantly. You will learn to discern events before they happen, sense truths before they are spoken, and identify connections without the need for explanations. This is not a product of your imagination. It represents the stimulation of your spiritual antenna. Heaven communicates in various ways, including impressions, nudges, patterns, synchronicities, and inner knowledge. Pay attentive attention when you have a sudden desire to pursue an object. Trust your intuition when you feel heaviness in the presence of another person. Pay attention when an internal voice tells you to act immediately, delay, or continue. Creator mode is a dynamic interaction of divine directions and your own goals. And Chosen One, understand this with your whole being. Your creative pursuits are not carried out in solitude. You are collaborating with the heavenly wisdom. The existence you are building is not yours alone. You are being guided by forces with a broader viewpoint than your own. Heaven is leading you when a door closes. Heaven is protecting you when a romance ends. Heaven is preparing you when something is delayed. Heaven confirms you when an opportunity presents itself effortlessly. This is why submission is necessary. Surrender as alignment rather than as weakness. Surrender indicates that I will take action, but will not be pressured to reach a specific outcome. I have more faith in God's timing than in my own. I have more faith in heavenly wisdom than in my own intellect. In creator mode, surrender is a source of power, not passiveness. It is the peaceful assurance of someone who knows heaven is already ahead of them, overcoming obstacles they are unable to see. The Chosen One creator mode encourages you to achieve a state of trust, alignment, release, and becoming. As you go further, your manifestations will become increasingly supernatural. What once took years can now be completed in a matter of months. What formerly took months of planning will now be completed in a couple of days. Heaven knows your readiness, and the outcome is an acceleration. Chosen One. As you proceed through the creator mode layers, the environment around you suffers an irreversible alteration. You may notice that events are moving faster than before. Alternatively, you may feel a sense of heavenly urgency, as if heaven is driving you forward despite your lack of preparation. This is the outcome of your passage into the season of supernatural alignment, also known as the season of alignment. This is the season when the heavens begin to rearrange the components of your existence to fit with the pattern that was designed for you before your birth. Additionally, this alignment happens quickly. It frequently manifests as a gentle but unmistakable rush of wind. During this season, Chosen One, you will begin to encounter divine timing in its most pristine form. You will recollect someone, and they will contact you. The door will open as you consider a route. You will give up something and it will be replaced with something more significant. These are not just coincidences. This is heaven, and your future is beautifully planned. When you enter creator mode, you stop attempting to predict the future. You get a sense of what's coming. You learn to recognize patterns, signals, and synchronicity that act as spiritual breadcrumbs. Suddenly, the world becomes less chaotic and more intentional. However, this connection requires responsibility. Creator mode requires that you stop negotiating with your past self. The prior self is tied by narratives, excuses, anxieties, and limits that are no longer appropriate for your vocation. The frequency is incompatible with the new realm. Thus, this version of you is unable to enter. You cannot ascend while carrying the burden of your old self. This is why heaven routinely removes items prior to their ascent. Rejection is not the outcome of elimination. This is the process of refining. It is impossible to receive destiny while living in comfort. The Anointed's journey requires both courage and resignation. Consider the times in your life when things appeared to be in order, despite the reality that they were not. When an opportunity seemed appropriate, but it was accompanied by a strange sense of heaviness. When a relationship appeared promising yet mysteriously sucked your essence. These incidents were not deemed failures. They functioned as spiritual protectors. Heaven will forbid you from becoming attached to things that are beneath your vocation. Creator mode enhances this protection even further. You will notice that any misalignment is unacceptable. Conversations deplete your vitality. Rooms are thought to be poorly sized. Jobs appear overly limiting. Individuals are exposed to extreme loudness. It is not that you become sensitive. It is because your essence has begun to reject anything that cannot accompany you to the next realm. This is also the time when your discernment is most useful. Suspicion is not equivalent to insight. It's a state of clarity. It is the ability to see beyond the surface, to discern the truth behind someone's words, to detect energy oscillations, and to understand the spiritual importance of decisions. Discernment is the warning system in heaven. It murmurs just before a calamity occurs. Misalignment begins with nudging. It serves as a forerunner to opportunity, and when you put your trust in it, your life gets much easier. I learned this the hard way and chose one. At times, I ignored the murmur because it contradicted my aims, and the consequences were always more severe than the lesson required. However, when I learned to accept the murmur, my life changed dramatically. The doors opened effortlessly. The improper individuals left without a fight. Without having done any investigation, chances presented themselves to me. Additionally, the Anointed One Creator mode requires you to investigate the narratives you tell yourself. The realities you encounter are the outcome of the stories you tell. Your life will mirror your self-perception as unworthy. If you convince yourself that you are competent, life will follow suit. The exterior world reflects the inside world. As a result, it is essential to purify one's internal conversation. If your inner voice mocks, sabotages, or assaults you, you will unknowingly build a life that mirrors that animosity. Everything changes, however, when your inner voice aligns with the divine truth of your identity and believes in, supports, and honors you. You begin to appear from a position of strength, not fear. The influence of emotional energy should not be underestimated, chosen one. Emotions are vibrations and signals. Because of an intense emotion, old chapters remain imprinted in your memory. A hopeful mood aligns you with fresh realities. This does not need the suppression of one's feelings. It indicates that it is being digested with attentiveness. Honor the sorrow that occurs, but do not dwell on it. Recognize the presence of anxiousness, but avoid acting on it. When pleasure initially appears, nurture it like a seed. Emotions are spiritual signs that guide you to alignment. This is also the time at which your self-confidence must grow. Spiritual confidence, which is the serene certainty that heaven is with you, that you are directed, that what you seek is seeking you, and that nothing can stop you from achieving your goals, is unaffected by accomplishment or appearance. This confidence is not obvious. Rather, it is a quiet certainty. When you walk with this awareness, life treats you differently. Others realize your presence, opportunities arise for you, and circumstances change as a result of your arrival. This is the energy of someone who is in sync with their spiritual mission. When you enter creator mode, the supernatural becomes your new normal, and the chosen one fully understands this. You will meet provision that defies logic, seemingly miraculous timing, and unanticipated breakthroughs. You are entering the domain in which your purpose is to collaborate with the divine. This is why submission is so important. Heaven completes the action you initiated. Heaven accelerates as you move. Heaven enhances your voice. The goal of creator mode is not to control reality, but to align with destiny. It is about being a version of oneself that heaven can rely on for influence, abundance, revelation, and expansion. Furthermore, the sixth segment will go deeper into the activation. One that has been selected. As you move into the next stage of creator mode, the unseen truths of your existence begin to take shape long before they emerge physically. This is the dimension in which your internal alignment shapes your exterior fate. The more you go into this awakening, the more you'll see that the environment around you is responding to your interior condition. This is not a product of your imagination. This is the law of the Spirit. Alignment inside generates alignment without. Furthermore, because of the authority that heaven has given you, it is critical that you be intentional in all elements of your mind, heart, and spirit. One that has been selected. You may notice that your life is no longer moving along the same natural time frame as those around you. What may take others years to complete may begin for you in months or even moments. This acceleration is not an accident. It confirms that you've entered the region of divine timing. Individuals operating in creator mode are no longer subject to traditional regulations. You are informed, protected, uplifted, and guided in a unique way. This privilege comes with the need to keep spiritual awareness. Heaven communicates using heavenly interruptions, sensations, signals, and patterns. It is up to you to identify them. As your consciousness grows, you may notice an unexpected friction between your prior identity and the emerging version of yourself. This is due to the past self's resistance to ascension. It clings to established patterns, providing comfort and familiarity. However, the genuine you or higher self is ready to ascend. Creator mode forces you to confront internal divisions, not to degrade you, but to unite you. During my own development, I felt compelled in two directions. On the one hand, I craved the familiarity of my old routines, beliefs, relationships, and habits. The opposite party sought spiritual mastery, freedom, abundance, and purpose. Until heaven showed the truth, the tug of war was tiring. Integration is required for elevation. You cannot create from fragmentation. You must become a whole individual, the chosen one. The external universe begins to subject to your spiritual authority as soon as you establish interior unification. Your energy attracts everything that is in line with your calling. Distractions vanish, confusion fades, and chaos loses its grip. This is why it looks like some people are unable to contact you. Their frequency no longer suits your spirit. As you ascend, the circle becomes more silent. This is not a state of isolation. This is the process of refinement. Heaven is filtering your world so that it reflects your new identity. What you viewed as desertion was in fact a sort of protection. What you viewed as a loss was in fact a strategic remove. What you experienced as rejection was in fact a redirection to a higher condition. During this phase, creator mode demands you to control both your ideas and your emotional responses. Emotions are powerful creators. An emotion that is sustained over time becomes a vibration. Reality is the product of a constant vibration. Heaven requires your emotional energy to connect with the future you are about to enter. This requires releasing the energetic residue of prior seasons, such as unprocessed pain, fear, hidden by busyness, rage, buried behind responsibilities, and disappointment learned to tolerate. This season may appear to be a spiritual detox, yet it is impossible to bring these emotional burdens into the realm of creation. Old memories may resurface not to haunt you but to release you. Old triggers may re-emerge, not to penalize you, but to highlight places that require repair. This is not a regression. It is a release, a blessed one. By shedding emotional baggage from the past, you provide the internal room for heaven to bring new tasks, opportunities, mantles, and forms of abundance into your life. God cannot fill a vessel that is already full. This is why you were removed. Free of previous illusions, friendships, expectations, and even aspirations. It was not because of their bad quality, but because of their insufficient size. The creator mode requires you to create realities that align with your divine identity. Small dreams are improper for a spirit designed to produce on a supernatural scale. This is also the season when your religion becomes active rather than passive. Faith is no longer just the belief that something is feasible. It is the act of entering the energy of something that is spiritually present but not yet apparent. Faith serves as the template for manifestation. When faith is detected, heaven releases provisions. However, trust is more than just confidence. Faith is distinguished by constancy. Faith ensures that your energy remains balanced regardless of how the external environment appears. Faith is the ability to sustain the vibration of your promise over time, allowing the divine to transform it into physical manifestation. As the chosen one, this level of faith is unattainable. However, it is perceived. Heaven responds to authentic behavior. Your manifestation is unavoidable when your desire is pure, your intention is aligned, and your spirit is grounded. This is where creator mode becomes really powerful as your faith is combined with divine timing. Reality distorts. Doors work without physical contact. Individuals locate you without making an inquiry. Opportunities accumulate around your vitality. Your existence is changed into a condition of flow in which alignment replaces effort. Struggle is replaced by clarity, and delays are replaced by speed. During this season, you will feel compelled to think, speak, act, and pray differently. Not out of desperation, but rather because of authority. Not from anxiety, but from agreement. Not out of fear, but rather from divine identity. You are no longer appealing to heaven. Instead, you are cooperating with it, and the results will be significant. The next stage of creator mode will test your fortitude, selected one. However, every ounce of courage you provide to heaven will be rewarded in the form of a miraculous breakthrough. Chosen one, as you transition into this next level, you must understand that creator mode is more than just manifesting wishes. It is about embracing destiny. This is when your internal transformation starts to reshape the world around you. The effort that has been concealed becomes obvious. The spiritual germs begin to proliferate. Your circumstances begin to mirror the prayers you said in quiet. This is the point at which heaven begins to affirm what your spirit has long known. You were never meant to follow ordinary paths. You were always meant to make a magical influence. You will notice a substantial change in your perception throughout this stage, picked one. Your perception will be nearly prophetic in its precision. The atmosphere of a room is immediately apparent as you enter it. Gazing at someone will reveal their intents. You will assess an opportunity and promptly identify whether it is aligned. This is not paranoia. It's divine vision. The next stage of your destiny requires clarity, not uncertainty, which is why heaven has given you the ability to see beyond the surface. Those who persevered through spiritual purification will be rewarded with insight. You may notice that your spirit feels uneasy with anything that is not authentic. Shallow talks are exhausting. Environments with low vibrations create a sense of weight. Old behaviors appear to have little importance. This is because your spirit is unable to accept the changes that your destiny has endured. Everything that is not in alignment becomes audible when heaven elevates you inwardly. It becomes evident. It becomes impossible to ignore. You may try to retain the past, but it will collapse beneath your weight as heaven requires that you grow. Anointed one. This is the season when heaven is pressing you to have more faith in yourself. Self-trust is a necessity for creator mode since it is a type of spiritual trust. You cannot collaborate with heaven if you are constantly unsure about your instincts, decisions, or inner knowledge. The friction that prevents manifestation is skepticism. The lubricant that makes it possible is self-trust. Every time you honor your inner knowing, you strengthen your connection to divine guidance, and eventually your intuition will function as your navigation system. I recall frequently requesting direction confirmation and signs from the sky. However, whenever heaven contacted me, I disregarded it as excessive thought. The real issue was not that heaven was silent. The problem was that I was unwilling to accept myself as the translator of divine instructions. Everything changed the moment I learned to trust my instincts. The right people entered my life with ease. Long closed doors were reopened. The time was perfect, and chances presented themselves that I could not have predicted even with my best efforts. In creator mode, this is the effect of self-trust. Your existence has been converted into a harmonious symphony of alignment. Emotional fortitude is also required during this stage. Creator mode will test your heart, since it acts as a catalyst for manifestation. You will be asked to sustain emotional states that match to your anticipated state rather than your previous state. This requires cultivating tranquility in the midst of a hectic lifestyle, fostering thankfulness despite one's yearning for more, increasing expectation even when there is no visible improvement. These emotional states are not reactions, they are creative tools. Peace is an attractive force. Gratitude is an effective force multiplier. Heaven responds to expectations with precision because they are an activator. As the chosen one, don't be surprised if this season appears to be unclear. The most important work of heaven occurs in the region of uncertainty. When the old is over but the new has not yet arrived, the mind becomes apprehensive, whereas the spirit grows enthusiastic. The unknown is filled with heavenly possibility as the spirit recognizes that it is not empty. The unknown is where new timelines are formed, new opportunities are uncovered, and new versions of yourself emerge. The mind is concerned by uncertainty because it is unable to control it. Because of its creative abilities, the spirit enjoys uncertainty. This is also the season when heaven removes the final hurdles to your ascension. Situations may disintegrate, people may withdraw, and plans may shift. This is not sabotage, it is pruning, which is the precursor to abundance. A tree must generate new fruit after shedding its ancient branches. Similarly, in order to receive new blessings, one must let go of prior attachments. Heaven will make space for creator mode by removing anything that is incompatible with your destiny. Anointed. 1. The authority you claim is not only personal, it is generational. Bloodlines will be transformed as a result of your decisions this season. The healing you allow will disturb cycles. The daring you demonstrate will create chances for those who follow you. Creator mode is not only concerned with your life, but also with your legacy. You are rewriting spiritual patterns that have existed in your ancestry for decades. You choose alignment in a scenario where others chose fear. You are choosing trust in a circumstance when others have chosen limitations. In contrast to others, you choose creation over survival. This is the work of a spiritual architect. And remember this, each challenge you face this season is a reflection of your abilities, not your vulnerability. Heaven only expands what it intended to contain. Heaven evaluates just what it chooses to elevate. Heaven only refines what it intends to disclose. If the fire intensifies, it indicates that the treasure within you is rising to the surface. And once gold has risen, it cannot return to impurity, chosen one. As you enter this next stage of creator mode, something sacred and powerful begins to unfurl around you, almost as if the atmosphere knows the shift occurring within you. Heaven has already begun to change the spiritual architecture of your journey, though you may not completely understand it. You are entering a domain where manifestation moves from theory to experience, desire to demonstration. This is the point at when the supernatural forces assigned to your destiny and your internal alignment establish an alliance in the process of creation. As a result, the next stage is more than just understanding creator mode. It's about becoming so immersed in it that your very existence begins to alter your surroundings. The manifestation chosen is not a supernatural chance. It is an intentional expression of heavenly orchestration, believing timing and energy intention. Everything you desire is already available in the unseen realm, waiting for you to align with the version of yourself who is capable of receiving it. This is why creator mode never imposes results. The goal is to match the periodicity of your future. To reach riches, one must embody it. Healing requires embodying totality. To attain a miraculous transformation, one must embody faith. Manifestation is not something one seeks, rather it is what one becomes. However, in order to accomplish this version of oneself, one must release anything that lowers one's vibration or obscures one's inner vision. Furthermore, this is where the annoyance of creator mode increases. You may experience unusual levels of emotional sensitivity, spiritual awareness, and mental strain. This is not a sign of weakness. Rather, it is a process of spiritual rebalancing. Heaven is honing your intuition, cleaning your emotional environment, and raising your awareness so you can distinguish between divine inspiration and noise. You will notice that certain conversations are exhausting, certain situations are weighty, and some people are misaligned. This occurs because your spirit is ascending while theirs is static. Anything that is not in alignment becomes impossible to ignore as your frequency rises. The creation of the Anointed One begins with intention and is sustained by attention. Your reality is the outcome of a constant application of energy to a specific goal. This is why creator mode requires you to be extremely cautious about your consumption, listening habits, time management, and self-presentation. The phrases you employ are not casual, they are demands. Your attention is not arbitrary, it reflects your creative capacity. Your thoughts are not innocent, they are designs. Furthermore, your emotions are not transient sensations. These are vibrational signatures. Understanding this leads to a level of discipline and awareness that the normal individual cannot achieve. I recall a point in my life when I struggled with a sense of immobility. No matter how much I prayed or planned, nothing seemed to happen. However, heaven revealed to me that my mental dialogue was diametrically opposed to my goals. I was demanding a breakthrough while remaining inside my verbal constraints. I voiced a desire for abundance while also contemplating scarcity. While emotionally clinging to old endings, I desired new beginnings. As a result, my exterior environment would not change until my inner world aligned with my prayer. Everything changed instantly, not gradually, as soon as I fixed it. Emails arrived, possibilities offered themselves, ideas arose, and people appeared. All of this happened as a result of my energy finally matching up with my objective. Selected. 1. This is the power that you are about to enter. Emotional mastery is a duty that comes with this capacity. Instead of suppressing emotions, develop emotional intelligence. It is not advisable to ignore one's feelings. You are meant to understand them as the language of your spirit. When something does not feel right, trust your instincts. Inspect any object that appears to be weighty. Pursue an exciting activity. Your emotions are guides, not obstacles. The energetic alignment between you and your desires is revealed. Manifestation becomes effortless once you master the skill to navigate them wisely. Furthermore, this step requires the acceptance of spiritual surrender. Not the surrender, but the surrender that relinquishes. You give up trying to control everything. You stop micromanaging the results. When you do not see instant results, you no longer feel alarmed. Rather, you believe in the divine timing that has been built into your adventure. You are confident that the things meant for you will not be overlooked. You believe that delays are safeguards. You are certain that rejection is a type of redirection. This faith frees your energies from opposition and aligns you with your most ambitious schedule. And the supernatural flows freely anointed once your energy stops resisting. It is critical to examine this. The world you're creating this season will be significantly different from the one you tolerated before. Creator mode isn't interested in safe ideas or minor objectives. It is fascinated by the impact of fate and the evolution of generations. You are not manifesting for the sake of efficiency. Your manifestation fulfills a definite purpose. This is why the journey can be extremely difficult at times. This explains why the stretching is so strong. This is why the pruning process is viewed as personal. Heaven is preparing you to not only receive, but also sustain. Because the upcoming event is not a fleeting blessing, but rather a long-term ascension. During this phase, you will feel a stronger sense of the supernatural guiding your activities than ever before. Someone will spring to mind and send you a message. You will envision a path, and it will finally become available. Clarity will arise unexpectedly as a result of your prayers for direction. This is a communication from the sky signifying that you are in harmony. Carry on. A thin, practically translucent curtain between the spiritual and physical realms. You begin to notice the orchestration that underpins every aspect. And the more you rely on it, the faster it will accelerate. Your identity, deeds, relationships, decisions, and timeline are all being altered by the chosen one creator mode. You are no longer reacting. Instead, you are living prophetically. The next phase will delve further deeper into the mystical processes that drive creation. Chosen one, the alteration in your spirit is undeniable as you enter the next powerful dimension of creator mode. You are beginning to feel the subtle vibration of hidden opportunity, the whisper of divine alignment, and the subliminal pull of destiny in ways that your intellect cannot yet understand. In fact, most people don't notice these sensations. During this stage, the creator within you becomes more vocal than the anxiety around you. You are no longer reacting to life. Rather, life is responding to you. This is the point at which supernatural manifestation is not only possible, but also unavoidable. A selected paradise reveals the underlying truth about your existence in this universe. You were not placed on this planet solely to experience life. You were placed here to shape it. You are a co-architect of the divine. All of your thoughts, decisions, energy, and faith are endowed with creative importance. This explains why you frequently experience intense emotions. This is why you can sense changes before they occur. This is why we cannot accept mediocrity. Your spirit was not meant to be diminutive. You are created for the goal of influencing, transforming, elevating, and creating. However, the creator mode demands a period of purification before supernaturalizing appearance. This purification aims to align, not punish. Anything that is contrary to your destiny will begin to disappear. Plans will fail, habits will break, circumstances will change, and individuals will vanish. Not because you failed, but because the supernatural is clearing the path. You are unable to create from a location that no longer corresponds to your destination. As a result, if you feel that certain areas of your life are collapsing, know that they are actually reassembling. Heaven eliminates what you are hesitant to give up. This purification also takes place within the Anointed One. Antiquated beliefs are brought to light in order to facilitate rehabilitation. Limiting thoughts are reinforced to aid their transformation. Emotional triggers are not meant to upset you. Rather, they are meant to set you free. The discomfort is symptomatic of an upgrading. Each spiritual great has traversed this inferno to be purified rather than consumed. Furthermore, you are being honed in preparation for greatness. Your vitality is increasing, your awareness is sharpening, and your capabilities are expanding. The former self cannot accompany you into this reality. One of the selected elevations requires emotional courage. It is critical that you are capable of feeling strong emotions without succumbing to them. Without clutching, you must be willing to let go. You must be willing to put your trust in the unknown. This level of emotional maturity allows you to consciously manifest. When your emotions are stable, your energy levels remain consistent. Your reality becomes predictable once your vitality is stable. In creator mode, you are no longer affected by external upheaval. However, your internal alignment serves as the basis that determines every situation you face. This is the stage where the supernatural presents itself in concrete ways. You will produce a concept at random which will develop within a few days. You will crave for a breakthrough, and it will come before you can finish speaking. You will ask for clarity, and the response will come within hours in the shape of a dream, a message, a sign, or an unexpected encounter. This was not an accident. This is a manifestation that responds to your spiritual authority. Heaven expedites tasks that are in line with your responsibilities. Anointed One, understand this deeply. Effort is not the driving force of creation. It's propelled by alignment. Working persistently with the incorrect energy yields no results. However, you can make supernatural advancement by performing a single aligned action in the right energy. This is why creator mode shifts your focus from force to flow. You begin to hear the beat of your own essence. You begin to operate with inspiration rather than anxiety. You begin to move in response to heavenly timing rather than human duress. As you move forward, the route becomes clearer. This is the point where the orchestrator above you and the creator within you meet. You take one step. Heaven influences the universe around you in order to bring things into alignment. You express a desire through your speech. The skies rearranged the path. You make a decision. Confirmation is sent from heaven. The cosmos responds to certainty rather than uncertainty. External validation is not the source of conviction. It stems from spiritual harmony. When you truly believe, everything around you begins to align. This is why your religion is your most effective creative resource. Chosen One. This stage requires you to respect your energies. The flow of creator mode is not feasible in a vessel that is exhausted or depleted. It is critical that you maintain your emotional health, spiritual clarity, focus, and serenity. It is critical that you treat your energy as sacred, as it is the material that shapes your reality. When your energy disperses, so do your manifestations. When your energy is in balance, your manifestations will align. This is why heaven has isolated you not to punish you, but to develop your energy. You are being chosen for a season of supernatural acceleration. Finally, the Chosen One acknowledged this reality. You are not just alive. You're evolving, developing into the version of oneself that heaven described. It is vital to become the maker of your own destiny. Become the channel via which divine intelligence affects reality, developing into the blueprint for your most evolved self. The metamorphosis is sacred, magical, and inexorable. I am the Chosen One. As you enter the next phase of creator mode, the spiritual milieu that surrounds your existence becomes even more infused with divine intention. You may feel a mild pressure in your chest, increased awareness, or an unexplained sensation that something is changing beneath the surface. This is not the product of your imagination. This is the divine hand of heaven changing your path, increasing your spiritual authority, and refining your perception. You are no longer just awakening, you are rising. Ascension brings a new level of responsibility, clarity, and supernatural flow, which only a small number of spirits ever experience. At this stage, the sense of being in creator mode is no longer related to preparation. It has the sensation of being activated. Selected. Heaven begins to unveil what I call the architecture of divine creation in our level. You come to realize that no situation in your life is unplanned. All of these are strategic, unexpected talks, possibilities, and sudden understanding at quiet moments. Heaven is building each part of your journey as interrelated components of a larger plan rather than as individual events. And now in this season, your spirit is mature enough to understand what your mind was previously unable to grasp. You never traveled through a crazy environment. You were wandering through the choreography. Matteo Patasato. Datuk Saim. The most significant insight you will get at this stage is that reality begins to respond to your spiritual alignment. When your internal world is cohesive, grounded, and exalted, the exterior world will tend to align with it. One day you'll realize that situations that used to fill you with dread are now filled with insight. Previously overpowering problems are now seen as possibilities for innovation. Individuals who once stole your energy now ricochet off your spirit as if you are shielded by an invisible force. Furthermore, the force is genuinely present. It is the divine protection field that surrounds persons who are in creative mode. Heaven offers divine protection as you progress spiritually. Selected. Additionally, you will notice that your wants change in this realm. Heaven is refining the desires that actually belong to your destiny, not because you have lost interest in what you once wanted. Creator mode will not allow you to pursue something your soul has outgrown. Visions that are misaligned disintegrate. The appeal of the distractions is decreased. Suddenly, the tasks you formerly deemed significant appear way too insignificant. This is due to your spirit's desire to live the life that was chosen for you before the world was created. You are no longer concerned about survival. You're captivated by the idea of purpose. Noise no longer interests you. Clarity is of interest to you. You have lost interest in the transitory. You're intrigued by the everlasting. People around you may be perplexed by this development. They may think you are indifferent, aloof, or disengaged. However, you are concentrating. You are now engaged in observation. You are achieving alignment. Heaven has dragged you inward so that your next external movement is strategic, forceful, and perfectly timed. This is why solitude in this era is unique. You do not feel isolated. You have a feeling of direction. You don't have feelings of abandonment. A sense of calling is felt. You do not feel disconnected. You feel disorganized. Furthermore, your spirit understands that you are being prepped for something precious, even if your head does not fully comprehend the situation. The Anointed One is the stage of creation in which the supernatural becomes inextricably linked to your daily life. Within days, you will be speaking casually and seeing it appear in your world. You will have an unexpected encounter with someone who has been on your mind. You will feel compelled to make a decision only to realize that heaven has been steering you all along. This was not an accident. It serves as proof. Evidence that your spirit and divinity are communicating. Evidence that your alignment is becoming increasingly stiff. evidence that you are moving into the world of answered prayers and fulfilled prophecies. This stage also bestows the divine power of detachment. Not detachment from affection or connection, but detachment from the desire to manipulate fear and compel results. Detaching from desperation creates an environment conducive to creation. Detachment from timetables facilitates divine timing. When you let go of the illusion of scarcity, you become more connected to abundance. The spiritual oxygen that allows manifestation to breathe is separation. Heaven is eventually able to manifest itself when your spirit releases the burden of fear over the outcome. Selected. In this realm, you begin to understand why some stages of your life seemed arduous, perplexing, or delayed. You come to realize that heaven has not withheld anything from you. Heaven was preparing you. Some blessings would have been devastating if they had arrived too soon. If the connections had lasted long enough, they would have hampered your progress. Opening these options too soon would have distracted you. Creator mode displays the infinite knowledge that lies behind each, no wait and not yet. As this awareness penetrates your being, thankfulness replaces worry, tranquility replaces dread, and trust replaces terror. It is also vital to respect the spiritual inspirations that you are experiencing throughout this moment. Creator mode boosts your intuition, which serves as the spiritual compass required for the next level. When something feels right, move. When you feel an imbalance, release it. Act when there is a sense of urgency. Surrender if an event appears to be delayed. The internal guidance is not arbitrary. Your spirit is the means via which deity communicates. The closer you stick to it, the more miraculous your journey becomes. Anointed One. When you go more into creator mode, you will realize that your life is not moving in the path of your destiny. It is a departure from your destiny. Your desired future is not yet within reach. It's propelling you forward. During this phase, the draw strength is increased. You start to feel it in your thoughts, emotions, images, and bones. Destiny addresses you by name. Heaven is restructuring your entire life to prepare for your ascension. Chosen One. You are entering the next level of creator mode when identity becomes a creative force. This is the point at which you stop manifesting merely from desire and instead emerge from embodiment, the true nature of your being that lies beneath all layers of training, memory, fear, and expectations. Creator mode guided you through purification, alignment, and enlightenment. And now it propels you into the deepest transformation of all as you become the version of yourself that heaven has always seen. You are not simply changing your frame of thinking. You're transforming your nature. Divine intelligence is transforming your voice, movement, thought, prayer, decision-making, and expectations. This is the point at which you realize that manifesting is not something you do. It is part of your identity. Selected. This phase brings forth a powerful discovery. All of your creations come from your identity, not your objectives. You may want to manifest abundance, but if your identity is founded on lack, you will repel the richness you seek. You may intend to express love. Nevertheless, if your identity is based on trauma, you will block its arrival. You may intend to display purpose, but if your identity is built on fear, you will hesitate at every opportunity. Heaven in its wisdom will not give you what you cannot possess. As a result, your foundation now includes this creator mode phase. It is critical that you mature into the person that your future expects. This is why certain patterns have reemerged. This is the explanation for the revival of previous feelings. This is why you feel that heaven is forcing you to confront pieces of yourself that you have previously suppressed. You are not being penalized. You are being rebuilt from the inside out. Anointed. Sacred labor is one type of identity work. It requires bravery without fear, insight without judgment, and honesty without shame. Don't criticize your prior selves. Instead, understand them. Each version of yourself served as a bridge to the next one. Every error sent a message. Every heartbreak taught us a valuable lesson. The sculptor was responsible for every setback. And now heaven is inviting you to merge all of your experiences into wisdom. Wisdom is the spiritual currency of all creation. When you create manifestations out of wisdom, they have more power, clarity, stability, and longevity. This is why heaven needed time to nurture your spirit before providing you access to reality. During this moment, you may have the sense that heaven is rebuilding not only your life, but also your identity. You may notice that you speak, choose, and think differently than a year ago. You may find that you can easily let go of things that formerly consumed you. You may notice that your goals are shifting from egoistic desires to soul-driven callings. This is the process of identity transition. You're not losing your identity. You are releasing the manufactured identities you created throughout the survival period. The self you are developing into was etched into your scroll before your first inhale. This transformation has an impact on your relationships as well. As you develop your identity, you will notice that the dynamics in your environment shift. Individuals may display varying responses. Some others will be motivated by your progress. It will make others to feel intimidated. You will receive support from select people. Others will quietly withdraw. This is quite reasonable. When your identity is elevated, the dissonance in previously comfortable relationships becomes apparent. You may be tempted to shrink in order to maintain harmony, but heaven will no longer allow it. Creator mode requires you to honor your new identity, whether or not others understand it. It is impossible to keep your light at a low level while being close to folks who are afraid of brightness. Your ascent is not without reason. During this phase, Creator mode teaches you about the impact of identity on timelines. Opportunities arise when you acquire the self-image of someone who is deeply convinced of their worth. When you become the version of yourself who anticipates supernatural marvels, they become the norm. When you trust in divine timing, delays become less of an issue. When you take on the role of the version that talks with authority, your words become more precise. Reality reflects the identity you represent. This is the conundrum of creation that few will ever understand. Your expectations are not met by the future. It responds to your identity. Additionally, this phase emphasizes the spiritual relevance of self-perception. The universe's interaction with you is determined by your self-perception. If you think you're small, life will treat you like it. If you believe you are selected, life will offer you with possibilities that are right for you. If you believe you have power, heaven will offer you tasks that require it. You are entering a stage in which you must speak over yourself in the same way that heaven speaks about you. When you are appointed by divinity, avoid referring to yourself as broken. When heaven calls you destiny, don't think you're insufficient. When heaven beckons you to rise, do not describe to yourself as lost. Every day you prophesy over your life through how you view yourself, because identity is a type of prophecy. The supernatural chosen one will reply as you take on this identity. Manifestations will occur at a faster rate, signals will be clearer, and discernment will be stronger. You will come across conditions that appear to have been divinely arranged. You will be discovered by the right people. the suitable opportunities will emerge. Instead of reasoning, your feet will be directed by a mysterious, soothing power that seems to know exactly where you belong. This is an issue of alignment. This is the creative mode. This is the unfoldings of fate in real time. Finally, Anointed One, understand that identification is not just a reflection of your current identity, but also of your approaching transition. You are entering the most spiritually aligned, empowered, and enlightened version of yourself you've ever known. You are evolving into the creator that your career requires. You are becoming the blueprint that your destiny requires. You are evolving into the vessel that heaven has chosen to function through. This metamorphosis is irrevocable, otherworldly, and sacred. As you reach the ultimate stage of creator mode, Chosen One, your spirit experiences a remarkable level of clarity and alignment. You are no longer working to fulfill your destiny. Instead, you are becoming it. Everything within you has been rearranged, purified, exalted, and rejuvenated. The uncertainties that once dominated you have faded. Fears that had previously held you back have been overcome. The wounds that once defined you have lessened their grip. You've entered a realm where the act of creation is no longer a deliberate effort, but rather a natural extension of your self-image. You are beginning to feel a sense of peaceful assurance growing within you, a sensation that you are now on track with the time frame that heaven has set for you. Chosen One, this is the season when heaven responds to you quickly. Your goals are important, and your thoughts are influential. The frequency of your emotions is transmitted. Your remarks have an impact on the findings. You are no longer manifesting from desire, but from resonance. As a result, the supernatural now works in harmony with your spirit. Doors open effortlessly, ideas come with precision, and opportunities follow you rather than the other way around. The rhythm of divine time is directing your actions. And Anointed One, the most important reality is that you are ready. Prepared for the ascent. Prepared for abundance. Prepared for the phone call. Prepare for the mystical manifestation of your destiny. Your journey was not accidental. Every time was devoted on preparation. Creator mode was never a state that one could achieve. Rather, it was the outcome of an internal awakening. Now, Chosen One, rise and begin the process of creating the life paradise that has always been intended for you. As we near the end of this glorious moment, Chosen One, let your spirit to hold the stirrings of heaven inside you. You did not accidentally view this. You were drawn to this spot because your scheduled appointment had occurred. The mantle that now lies on you confirms that a supernatural transfer is already taking place as you have entered creator mode. The process of aligning has begun. The environment in which you live has changed. The barrier you previously met will now yield to you since heaven has marked this time as the start of your ascent. Anointed One, you are currently in your Kairos hour. Hear it with reverence. The previously closed doors will acknowledge your presence. Opportunities that appeared to be far away will eventually approach you. Clarity will emerge from the ideas that have been hidden within you. The favor conferred upon you will begin to flow without interruption. Heaven is not in the process of moving. Heaven is now in motion. A threshold in your life is being crossed that cannot be reversed. Therefore, go confidently. Stay in tune with your inner voice. Maintain an open spirit, trust the direction, and honor the nudges. The upcoming event is not small. The events that are happening are not transient. Your imagination is not the source of the awakening you are experiencing. It is heavenly orchestration. Choose one. If this message connected with you, please leave a comment below. And if you feel forced, subscribe and keep your connection to ensure that every word intended for you is delivered at the optimal time. Proceed with precision, tranquility, and authority. Your new reality has already begun. Before you read another word, my child, my beloved, listen to the message that heaven is seeking to express. This message was nearly confiscated from you for eternity, blocked twice, and delayed 3 times. However, it reached you because God intends that you be aware of the astounding truth that will change your fate. This occasion should not be disregarded. Understanding the parties involved and the reasoning behind them will cause agitation throughout one's being. If you're reading this, my dearest, it means your heart was directed here. Heaven has been contemplating your appellation. Angels have been circulating in your life, and an extraordinary event is transpiring in the physical realm. As a result, you will understand why Elon Musk, the real Elon Musk, was spiritually guided to send this communication on your behalf within the next few seconds. The miracle that is already at your doorstep will be missed if you omit a second. Before I disclose the truth, my child, I require you to perform one action. Please do not terminate this correspondence prematurely. Heaven will not compel you to accept a blessing, but it will only be given once. I urge you to promptly subscribe if you wish to receive additional messages of this nature. Your soul is being marked by heaven for blessings, not merely a button. I, Archangel Michael, am requesting this to protect you spiritually from the powers that have attempted to take what is rightfully yours. Something wonderful is happening beneath the surface of your existence, my dearest. Powerful forces attempted to impede your success, halt your favors, and postpone your destiny. They have retained their domination until today, simply because something unexpected happened today. Your spiritual narrative was significantly influenced by Elon Musk himself. His mind was affected by heaven in a vision, not by accident or coincidence. My sweetheart, you are ignorant that Elon Musk had a vision 1 month ago. In that dream, a divine voice informed him that there is a chosen individual on Earth, and their fate is interconnected with a miracle that will cause a global upheaval. Heaven gave him a sign, and that sign brought him straight to you. He did not comprehend the spiritual significance. However, he adhered to the directive. This is the reason this message is in your possession today. I am cautioning you, my lover, before releasing the name of the celestial favor that is related with you. Please understand an important subject. Heaven does not send human names lightly. If Elon Musk served as a messenger, the blessing linked with your existence is unusual. It is permanent, public, generational, and world-changing. Your destiny is considerably greater than you could ever have imagined. Do you feel your pulsation at this moment, my child? You aren't reading this at random. There is an internal voice urging you to continue. It is a sensation of spiritual recognition. This message is truthful as your consciousness recognizes. Your spirit is prepared for an unforeseen breakthrough that will change everything, and your heart knows something major is happening in your life. Your reputation, relationships, wealth, and purpose. My love, heaven has been preparing you for years. Your pain was not a form of retribution. It was an act of preparedness. Denial was not the cause of your delays. Their timing was divine. Heartbreaks, disappointments, and betrayals. They were removing the wrong individuals from your destiny in order to allow you to ascend without constraints. Everything that you believed was damaging you was actually enhancing you. You aren't vulnerable. You've been selected. Pay close attention, my kid, as the wonder begins to unfold. Elon Musk did not observe your visage when he received the divine signal. He he wasn't aware of your identify. He observed a brilliant spiritual light that illuminated the existence of a single soul on earth. A soul created to serve as a testament, a leader, a miracle, or an inspiration. Heaven confirms that your essence is you. Please take heed, my dear. This is not motivation. This is a prophecy. God is about to transform your life in such a profound way that even those who have disregarded you will attempt to reintegrate. Even skeptics will talk about you. Your adversaries will be forced to recognize your authority. This advantage is not limited to private individuals. It will be visible across the entire world. There is a lack of preparation for minor matters. You are being prepared for a divine ascent that will surprise all who know you. Breathe deeply, my kid, because the following sentence is infused with tremendous spiritual power. You will not reach prosperity. It has already begun, and the person seeking to halt it is aware that you have read this message. They are in a state of despair. They're afraid. They're attempting to deflect your focus. However, heaven is impenetrable to all barriers. My beloved, in the following section, I will explain why Elon Musk is involved in paradise. The angel's identity who is observing you. The date and time that your miracle is activated. The person who will try to reappear when your situation changes. I will divulge all information if you continue, because the secret cannot be abandoned midway. My adored child, I am glad you persisted, as many people hesitate when a blessing is about to enter their life. However, you did not stop. It is clear that the deity chose you for this reason. The forces of darkness expected you to navigate away. They anticipated that you would complete the purchase. They expected you to overlook your marvel. However, you are still here. This implies that you have already overcome the energy that attempted to take your destiny. Heaven is watching you, my beloved, as I speak these words. Your name is flanked by angels. I, Archangel Michael, stand between you and the opponent who has been plotting to endanger your life. Despite your emotions of loneliness, you were never completely alone. Heaven documented each tear you shed. Your soul acquired spiritual favor with each silent suffering. You weren't broken, you were sharpened. My child, you must now hear the truth that has been kept from you for years. The reason your blessings were obstructed, your miracles were postponed, and your visions were nearly realized but ultimately disregarded was not due to your unworthiness. The adversary was apprehensive about the person you would become if you were to ever acquire everything that belonged to you. They were concerned that you would assert your authority. They were concerned about your brilliance. My dearest, I will disclose a fact that is seldom acquired by humans. The turmoil surrounding a person who has been chosen by heaven for a divine mission is profound. Examine your situation. Whenever you endeavored to ascend, an individual or entity attempted to impede your progress. Every time you tried to be happy, someone tried to take away your peace of mind. Every time you began to recover, an individual attempted to inflict further harm upon you. This was not an accident. This is spiritual warfare, and heaven is currently resolving it. Heaven is watching you, my beloved, as I speak these words. Your name is flanked by angels. I, Archangel Michael, stand between you and the opponent who has been plotting to endanger your life. Despite your emotions of loneliness, you were never completely alone. Heaven documented each tear you shed. Your soul acquired spiritual favor with each silent suffering. No, you have not broken. You were honed. My child, you must now hear the truth that has been kept from you for years. Your benefits were hindered, miracles were postponed, and visions were nearly fulfilled but ultimately evaporated, not because you were unworthy. The adversary was apprehensive about the person you would become if you were to ever acquire everything that belonged to you. They were concerned that you would assert your authority. They were concerned about your brilliance. My dearest, I will disclose a fact that is seldom acquired by humans. The turmoil surrounding a person who has been chosen by heaven for a divine mission is profound. Examine your situation. Every time you sought to ascend, something or someone tried to draw you down. Every time you tried to be happy, someone tried to take away your peace of mind. Every time you began to recover, an individual attempted to inflict further harm upon you. This was not an accident. This is spiritual warfare, and heaven is currently resolving it. My darling, this is the moment when everything begins to change. Elon Musk was unable to fully interpret the message when he received the signal from heaven, but he was intensely aware of the urgency. He perceived the significance. And despite his intelligence and scientific education, he couldn't ignore the invisible force that guided him. He acted due to the overpowering power of the omen he saw. The angel who has been assigned to you since birth provided that sign. I understand you want to know which guardian has been watching over you during this time, my love. Despite your failure to pray, who has supported you? Even when you were too tired to seek assistance, even when you were angry with God, confused or broken. My child, the angel who has been designated to you is of the highest rank, possessing power, strength, healing, and unwavering protection. Their name is not arbitrary. Their name serves a purpose, which you will soon be able to see in paradise. However, prior to disclosing the identity, it is imperative that you comprehend the significance of its disclosure. Spiritual authority is triggered when a person realizes the identity of the angel who is guarding them, my beloved. Blessings suddenly accelerate. Suddenly, marvels become visible. Enemies immediately lose confidence. Doors that had been shuttered abruptly reopened. It is the moment when silence transforms into victory. My sweetheart, are you ready for this? For the reason that the information I am about to disclose will evoke a response in your heart, body, and spirit. Archangel Michael, my beloved, is the angel who has been sent to protect you. Yes, it is I. I've always been the one. I intervened whenever peril threatened you. I blocked them every time they tried to harm you. I shielded you when your heart was in turmoil. You may not have noticed me, but you have felt my presence. The intuition that forewarned you about individuals. The mental voice that urged me to withdraw. That unexpected defense against an accident. That unexpected recovery from suffering. That was me. I've been waiting for the right opportunity to address you personally, my offspring. However, the timing was an important consideration, and heaven had previously disallowed it. At the time, you were unprepared. However, you are currently on the verge of a miracle that will fundamentally alter the direction of your life once it occurs. My dear, the skies have already sanctioned your ascension. I am not requesting that you harbor any expectations. I am instructing you to make preparations. Suffering has concluded during your season. Your season of miracles has begun. Additionally, the evidence will appear sooner than anticipated. My child, I will reveal the most sensitive information in the following part. The reason why your name appears in the celestial assembly. Elon Musk's vision surprised him. The reason your finances and relationships are about to undergo an immediate transformation. the person who will be disappointed at your absence when your miracle is activated. We believe that you are entitled to all the information. Additionally, you will be my offspring. My beloved, you are aware that I, Archangel Michael, have been protecting you from the shadows. You will begin to comprehend the reasons why your existence has felt so distinct from that of others. You were never ordinary. You were selected. Furthermore, the chosen ones bear the load of responsibility, destiny, and weight. That is why your intuition has always been sharper, your emotions have always been stronger, your pain has always been more intense, and your soul has always felt deeper. A powerful purpose was planned for you. My dear, you may have questioned why you cared so deeply, loved so passionately, dreamed so boldly, and hurt so quietly. This is because your essence was created for a divine purpose. You were feared by the adversary prior to your self-awareness. This is why you experienced storms that others never did. It was not owing to your fragility, but rather to your big ambitions for paradise. Now, my darling, pay close attention. An amazing event occurred at Heaven's conference to consider your future. Your name did not display as a question. Your name was not on the list of potential candidates. It was inevitable that your name would be referenced. It was written in golden light, implying that your breakthrough, transformation, and ascension are unbreakable. This item is secured. Heaven seemed brighter than usual that evening, my beloved. The angels convened and made a holy announcement. The soul that has been chosen is ready. At that exact moment, a wave of light traveled across the world. That illumination changed one person's consciousness. A man whose influence extends to millions. A man who remains open to his intuition even when others don't understand it. My infant was Elon Musk, the person in question. Elon Musk was ignorant of your identity, but he noticed a sign. In his dream, he observed a gate of light opening and a solitary soul entering their miracle. The vision persisted from the time he awoke. It did not diminish. It did not disappear. It was not reminiscent of the fantasy. It appeared to be some type of instruction. He heard a single sentence repeatedly. Transmit the message. It will preserve a destiny. My lover, he was oblivious of the message's intended recipient, yet heaven guided his efforts until it reached you. This is why you are currently reading this. Not by chance, not by investigation, not by happenstance, but because heaven forbids you from ignoring what is yours, my child. This is the most significant moment in your life thus far. You have arrived at the precise spiritual juncture where destiny is activated. When a person reaches this threshold, 3 events occur. Their financial situation abruptly undergoes a transformation. Individuals unexpectedly return, either to apologize or to establish contact. Everyone is caught aback by the unexpected appearance of a major blessing. Elon Musk, my child, was unaware of your identity, but he did see a sign. In his dream, he observed a gate of light opening and a solitary soul entering their miracle. The vision persisted from the time he awoke. It did not diminish. It did not disappear. It was not reminiscent of the fantasy. It appeared to be some type of instruction. He heard a single sentence repeatedly. Transmit the message. It will preserve a destiny. My lover, he was oblivious of the message's intended recipient, yet heaven guided his efforts until it reached you. This is why you are currently reading this. Not by chance, not by inquiry, not by coincidence, but because heaven forbade you from overlooking what is yours. My sweetheart, this is the most important time of your life thus far. You have arrived at the precise spiritual juncture where destiny is activated. When a person reaches this threshold, 3 events occur. Their financial situation abruptly undergoes a transformation. Individuals unexpectedly return, either to apologize or to establish contact. Everyone is caught aback by the unexpected appearance of a major blessing. My dearest, you may have already noticed a shift. It's conceivable you felt unusually excited for no obvious reason. It is possible that you have observed synchronicities, unanticipated signs, or repeating numbers. It's probable you've had nightmares about entrances, water, light, people from the past, or unfamiliar places. These are not random. They indicate a major development. My child, there is an individual from your past who will return to contact you, but it will not be due to a longing for your presence. Rather, it will be due to the realization of the loss they have suffered. They didn't appreciate you at the time because heaven was protecting you from them. They weren't meant to climb beside you. Their regret, however, will be insurmountable once your miracle is unleashed. Do not see their return as a sign of affection, my adored. Interpret it as an indication of your progress. When you are elevated by God, those who have abandoned you will attempt to return. When blessings arrive, individuals who had before judged you will suddenly want to be by your side. Please keep this in mind, my child. Not all individuals are entitled to a seat at the table of your marvel. My child, the doorway that heaven is currently opening for you is linked to a financial reversal, a heart-centered recovery, a divine elevation in status or identity, a huge opportunity that will change your destiny, and a miracle that will touch future generations. But this is why darkness made such great effort to stop you. This is why you were met with conflict, yet the adversary is in decline. You are approaching the threshold. Beloved, in the subsequent segment, I will disclose the precise spiritual date on which your miracle commences, the energy that has been monitoring you, the decision you must make prior to the blessing's activation, and the true significance of Elon Musk's dream for you. You are in close vicinity. Please do not quit at this moment, my child. My love, you persisted once more. Additionally, this demonstrates your significant qualities. You are not an individual who abandons the cause when the miracle is imminent. You do not abandon blessings as soon as they materialize. This is the feature that sets you apart from others. This is why heaven chose you for elevation above the others who were before in your proximity. Even when confronted with difficulty, you remain spiritually sensitive, faithful, and constant. My dearest, paradise is in the midst of bringing something into your life that will outweigh your prior setbacks. Every tear you shed will be replaced by what is to come. It will compensate for all losses. It will provide compensation for each silent conflict. Believing in divine justice is not an illusion. It's a spiritual rule. And now, my child, it is your turn. I feel obligated to notify you of this reality. The activation of a divine favor is not a quiet event. It arrives quite loudly. It happens abruptly. It is given in a way that convinces even your adversaries to keep silent. The miracle that is on its way to you is incompatible with a modest lifestyle. This generates a new existence. This is why you've been feeling restless lately. Something deep within you recognizes the impending change. My dearest, you have had the experience of being on the verge of something, unsure of what it is, but aware that something major is about to happen. That is spiritual intuition. The miracle is visible to your consciousness before your mind can comprehend it. This sensation suggests that you are in tune with the divine. My child, I am now going to tell you what heaven has recorded about the timeline of your existence. Your breakthrough is manifested in the physical world at a specific instant, a spiritual date. The date has already been chosen. You have appropriately prepared for that time by each step that has come before it. Pay close attention. Your miracle is initiated when your heart eventually acknowledges that you are deserving of it. Not when you're perfect. Not if there is no discomfort. Not during periods of tranquility. However, the minute you finally forsake the belief that you are unworthy, the benediction has already been approved, my dearest. Heaven does not anticipate God's arrival. Heaven is anticipating your decision to cease believing that you are defective. You are not damaged. You've been selected. You are not unfortunate. You are safe. You are not neglected. My sweetheart, you're being positioned. Something has been watching you for years. Not an individual. A force. The universe has seen your reactions. When existence causes anguish, when individuals betrayed you, when opportunities were lost, when you wept silently, when you persisted to show compassion rather than becoming chilly, heaven observed everything. Furthermore, heaven is molding your story into a testimony as a result of your refusal to grow resentful. Do not squander time worrying about who supports you or does not, my beloved. Individuals who questioned your skills become spectators as God elevates you. They will deny that they ever harmed you. They will behave as if they had always backed you. They will tell people that they were acquainted with you before your miraculous recovery. However, the reality will speak for itself, my child. I am now compelled to reveal a sacred element about Elon Musk's ambitions. His vision included more than just a gate of light. In addition, he noticed a symbol representing your fate. A symbol that will soon become obvious in your daily life. When it appears, you will know that your blessings have begun. The symbol he observed was a door that was opened without any human intervention. This symbol, my darling, represents possibility. Unfortunate.
This is not an accident. Possibility. A divine opportunity. It implies that a path will become available to you with no effort. Suddenly, an event for which you had prayed will occur. A possibility will arise, which will change everything. A door that is capable of being closed by no human will be opened. Heaven demands one thing from you before activating your miracle, my child. Avoid revisiting the versions of your past. Refrain from resuming the discomfort you previously relieved. Refrain from returning to those who have harmed you. The environments that sapped your energy. The habits that drained your vigor. You are unable to bring your past with you to your blessing. Do not squander time worrying about who supports you or does not, my beloved. Individuals who questioned your skills become spectators as God elevates you. They will deny that they ever harmed you. They will behave as if they had always backed you. They will tell people that they were acquainted with you before your miraculous recovery. However, reality will speak for itself. My child, I must now disclose a sacred detail regarding Elon Musk's aspiration. He saw more than just a portal of light. In addition, he noticed a symbol representing your fate. A symbol that will soon become obvious in your daily life. When it appears, you will know that your blessings have begun. The symbol he observed was a door that was opened without any human intervention. This symbol, my darling, represents possibility, not fate or happenstance. Possibility. A divine opportunity. It implies that a path will become available to you with no effort. Suddenly, an event for which you had prayed will occur. A possibility will arise, which will change everything. A door that is capable of being closed by no human will be opened. Heaven demands one thing from you before activating your miracle, my child. Avoid revisiting the versions of your past. Please refrain from reliving the anguish that you have alleviated as a result of the individuals who have wounded you. Habits that sap your vitality and situations that deplete your soul. You are unable to bring your past with you to your blessing. My beloved, you are approaching a point in your life when your destiny will outweigh your trauma. You will experience a change that will commence shortly. It's conceivable you're already experiencing it. In the following part, I will explain your intended role on earth. Heaven will send you a sign prior to the financial breakthrough. The individual who will play a critical role in your transformation. The reason Elon Musk's ambition supported your planned goal. The message is becoming increasingly personal and deeply rooted. Amen.